They told you their story ended. They told you they were just friends. They told you the chaos was over. They lied. The chaos never leaves Christian Grey. It simply goes into hiding. For years, every time Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson stood side by side on a red carpet, the script was the same. We're like brother and sister. But behind that carefully constructed public facade, an alternate narrative was being written. We are not talking about a movie studio, a contract, or a billion-dollar box office. We are talking about a secret project. A silent, intense, dramatic film, shot in complete, utter secrecy during a calculated, dangerous gap in their schedules. A film that was never meant to be seen. A film that explores the terrifying truth of their relationship that the trilogy refused to touch. It is the final, devastating chapter they wrote for themselves, and its plot reveals the true monster Christian Grey became. Tonight, we expose the cinematic lie that was the brother and sister defense, the unseen movie, the truth they desperately wanted to keep hidden. To understand the feasibility of such a secret project, we must first look at the timeline. Following the conclusion of their final filming obligations, both actors meticulously diversified their resumes. Yet there are significant windows, especially during the global pause of the early 2020s, and isolated breaks between major projects like Dornan's The Tourist and Johnson's production work, where their schedules mysteriously aligned in London. London, a place they both frequented, is large enough to conceal a brief, non-union, intense film shoot utilizing minimal crew and resources, far from the watchful eye of Hollywood press. Let's dissect the lie itself, the brother and sister defense. It was too rehearsed, too immediate, and too absolute. It served the business necessity of the moment to quell rumors that threatened Dornan's marriage and Johnson's personal life. But in the world of high-stakes, trauma-based acting, a shared, intense experience creates a powerful, often unspoken bond. This project would have been the ultimate exercise in professional catharsis, using their raw, shared emotional residue from the trilogy to fuel a new, honest narrative. The brother-sister narrative therefore becomes the perfect alibi for a secret professional reunion. Who would suspect actors who claim to be family of filming a dark, intimate project together? The secrecy would have been paramount, driven not by money, but by fear. Specifically, the fear of antagonizing the author, E.L. James, who maintained absolute creative control over the characters. Any attempt to interpret the story in a new, unapproved way would have drawn her immediate and powerful legal wrath. By operating entirely outside the studio system, they could finally explore the dark truth of their characters without the author's interference. Now, let us hypothesize the content of this unseen movie. Given their post-50 Shades trajectories, Dornan towards psychological thrillers like The Fall, and Johnson towards roles that explore trauma and identity, the film would have to be an unflinching exploration of the trilogy's darker themes. We theorize the plot, likely a short film titled The Ledger, focuses on a weekend encounter years after Anna and Christian have supposedly moved on. The plot begins with Christian as a wealthy man who has achieved surface-level healing. He finds himself battling a recurring anxiety attack, a manifestation of his trauma and control issues. Anna is now a successful editor, hardened by their shared history, who agrees to meet him one final time, but on her terms, in a neutral, remote location, perhaps a stark seaside cottage. The suspense of the film would revolve around a single object, Christian's ledger, not a contract, but a small hidden journal containing every secret, every lie, and every act of psychological control he performed during their marriage that Anna never knew about. This film would be the tense, 48-hour confrontation as Anna reads the ledger entries aloud, forcing Christian to confront the darkness he hid even from his submissive. The dialogue would be stripped bare and ruthless. Imagine a scene where Anna reads an entry detailing a manipulative move Christian made against her job years prior, all while he insists it was protection. This is not BDSM, it is psychological horror, with the actors using the true, raw emotion of their own career breakage to fuel the performance. The climax of this imagined film does not involve sex. It involves infidelity, or the accusation of it. Anna finds herself drawn to the comfort of another man, a former colleague, and the climax is Christian's chilling, non-violent breakdown upon realizing he can no longer control her fidelity, the very core of his trauma. This would be the ultimate revenge for Anna, not leaving him, but demonstrating that his control over her soul is permanently broken. The end of the ledger is not reconciliation, it is absolute, painful separation. Anna leaves, but she doesn't use a dramatic exit. She simply walks away, having used the confrontation to free herself, leaving Christian utterly broken, finally facing the monster he is without the defense of love. If this film exists, it is Dornan and Johnson's greatest performance together, a professional exorcism of Christian and Anna, utilizing their undeniable, intense dynamic for truth rather than fantasy. And its very existence, hidden in a sealed vault somewhere in London, is the most powerful evidence that their story, for them, was far darker than anyone ever imagined. This is the truth behind The Brother and Sister Lie, a secret film that was the final, devastating chapter they wrote for themselves.